Well, I'm really excited about our next speaker. She is a major influencer, and we're really lucky to have her today because she just launched an entire collaboration line that she created with Dillard's today. She's okay. I'm going to let you kind of talk about it, but she's a mom. She's an entrepreneur. She's an influencer. And she's going to share her experience with us from transitioning from the corporate world. She used to work at Spanx to owning her own business. And I'm going to be staying on with her. We're going to do this Q&A style. So please welcome Emily Hertz. Hi, Emily. Hopefully, can you hear me? You can hear me? Okay, well, hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to start with the first question. If not, we will debug this. So thank you so much for being here today. And I kind of just want to jump into this since there's a lot of questions that we've come up with because I really want to pick her brain. I think all of you will want to learn about how she has.
Hey there. I don't think I can hear Megan.
Okay.
So I'll just start talking a little bit about myself. I'm Emily, and I'm so glad to be here. I have a brand called Born on Fifth that I started about 4 years ago after a tenure at Spanx, the shapewear company. And I was going to talk a little bit tonight with Megan about how to go from we're texting. This is the fun with virtual. So we were going to have a conversation and a little bit of an interview, but I can talk amongst myself with you about how to go from your own business to, working for a corporate organization to starting your own business, and some of the things that I wish I would have known, and some of the things that can help you empower yourself. So when I started, I decided that I wanted to learn everything I could while working at another organization. So I, got myself into gear and learned everything I could. I found mentors. I think mentors are really important. Finding somebody that has something to teach you and that is willing to be open with you is, really a great career move. And so I was lucky to find some mentors and really learn from them and take all that I could from them, and also give myself. So I was really devoted to my job and did everything I could to, ensure that I worked as hard as I could and got recognition for that. I put myself on the line and did everything I could while I was working for somebody else. What that taught me is that I really, by the time it was time to work for myself, A, what I would be looking for in an employee when it was time to hire, but also B, how I could do the most, and make myself most successful. So I recently just launched a brand collaboration with Dillard's. So it's Born on Fifth for Antonio Milani, which is their one of their internal brands. And it's been a huge success. And I think part of that I can attribute to the fact that I learned a lot while I was working for somebody else, and then I was able to apply those principles. Oh, and the phone is ringing, so now I can have a conversation.
What is Meghan?
Hello?
Okay.
Hey guys. I don't know what happened. I can see myself. I just can't hear y'all.
Okay, so we're going to do this where you should probably mute me when I'm talking.
Perfect.
So this is what we should do, because you guys, we're like fully in the digital world. So thank you for bearing with us. It seems to always happen to me when I go on too. So in any event, you started talking a bit about your experience with Spanx and also having a mentorship. And I actually had some specific questions in regards to how you found a mentor and what did they actually teach you that you use to then launch your own business. And now unmute yourself. Oh. Unmute the TV.
Yep. Sorry, I was unmuting it. It was getting remuted. Okay. So how did I find a mentor? So I actually had a mentor in college, and she was a woman that I sought out. I went and heard her speak at a magazine club meeting. I majored in magazine journalism. And so this woman, Amy Fleury, was going to speak about magazines. I thought, great, I'll go. After the conversation, I jotted down her email address. I hadn't thought to ask it, but somebody else had. So I got her email address, and after I used her advice and got my first internship in New York City, I emailed her and thanked her for her great advice and that I used it to my benefit. And so it just started a relationship. So I would say that mentorship is most often started by finding somebody that you can make a connection with on any human level. We were talking earlier about community. So it doesn't have to be somebody necessarily at your job, but anybody that you have a relationship with, or that you can build a relationship with, that you feel has something to teach you and that you can sense is open to sort of taking you under their wing and guiding you, and not necessarily that you're just, you're just getting, but also that you may be able to give them something and teach them how to be a leader, or teach them how to, be a manager if they aren't a manager yet. So you can be helping them by giving them skills too.
Okay, great. Okay, so now
mute yourself.
Okay.
So I love this audience. I can feel that everyone's like, we support you. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to give you two questions at once. I think it'll be easier, okay? The first one that I want to know, and I actually really am interested in these answers myself. What was it that you learned at Spanx specifically that helped you to run your business? And number two, in regards to storytelling, okay, I know that storytelling is a big subject I've been hearing a lot about recently. Can you tell us the significance of storytelling and how you're doing it with your brand?
I'll start with the running the business. So I was in marketing, and I really think that I learned a lot of components of the business, how a startup works. I came in about 8 years after the company had started, but I saw all the different operational functionalities that work to make an entrepreneurial startup company function. And so as I started my own business, I was able to say, okay, these are the different buckets that I need to fill. These are the different organizational units that I need to, and I'm still working through that. And I just, it's something that I'm in the very beginning stages, but I think just understanding like sort of how an operation can work and how it can then turn into from a team of 1 to 2 to $1 billion brand, I think was very helpful for me to see that it really was just one person who started it, and she had somebody that helped her with what her weakness was. So Sarah will say that her weakness was, sort of the finance piece, which I think for a lot of creatives, understanding and working through the numbers and some of the sales projections, and that's not necessarily a strength. So hiring for your weaknesses is something that she always preached. And so I'm working through that right now. And then something that's more of my strong suit, which is storytelling. I really find that I was able to understand. So the way that, Spanx became such a differentiated company is that they made the brand, and Sarah, made the brand single-handedly about relating to other people and telling a story. So she had the issue, her butt didn't look good in white pants, and she had a problem that she could then solve with the product. So the problem was panty lines, and the solution was Spanx. So I think any product or any brand that you're starting, being able to tell a story of why you have made it, what you are doing to differentiate yourself, and how the product can solve a problem for somebody is hugely important. So the collection that I just launched with Dillard's, when I was making it and designing it, I thought, okay, what problems are people, when they DM me, what are they asking about? They're asking, what do I wear to a wedding? What do I wear to, my baby's newborn pictures? What do I wear to any like family photos, any single thing. And it's very event driven. So I think a lot of times, if you're a great shopper like me, I could figure out how to wear anything anywhere. But for a lot of people, they don't have the time or they don't have the interest in figuring that out. So I think, my solution that I brought to the table was a very curated 8-piece collection that you can have. If you buy every single thing, you will have every spring into summer and even into fall, transitioning into winter wardrobe piece you need. So, it's all about telling a story and helping engage with your audience and your community in that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. So first of all, just make sure before you leave to put the link in the chat, because I'm definitely going to want to shop this line. I will mention one thing on that. You know, a hard thing for me always with shopping is there's so many styles I like. Like I like classic. I like, but I like the Kim Kardashian sexy style. I like a boyfriend t-shirt with boyfriend jeans. So it is kind of hard sometimes to kind of then decide what style you want. And the thing that I really love about what I've already seen about you is that you do have a very consistent style. And I think that can actually help. So definitely make sure you put the link, because I'm going to want to see that. And I think everyone else will too, especially since you said it will handle all of your problems with picking out an outfit. That's amazing. Here's my next two questions, and I'm sure Bridget will tell me our time. So 2 questions I have. Tell us what you learned about the life cycle of a product, and what does that actually mean? And what did you learn about managing a team?
So so the life cycle of a product is basically, you know, the way that I would describe it is from concept to fruition. So I guess there are 2 meanings. One is on the product development side, when you have the idea and then you have come up with a concept. In a lot of companies, there are different benchmarks and calendars so that you can, develop 20, 30, 50 products at a time, and all of them have their differentiated, marks on the calendar. You present them to your company, you get buy-in, the merchants take them off and make a sales plan against them. So the life cycle of a product sort of lives in that way. And then you could also describe it as when you are, if you have founded a brand and have a product and you get it on the retailer's floor, how long is that product going to stay? Is it a seasonal product? Is it a core product? Is it something, if we're using Spanx as the example, that, your footless pantyhose is something you always offer, and then seasonally you have a, different colorway or a different, if it's tights for fall. The faux leather leggings have been a huge success and a huge hit for the brand. So I think, you think through the life cycle of the product and what you want to introduce next. So one of the things that I learned at Spanx was that, as our core consumer got older, we needed to figure out a way to appeal to the next generation. And so, products can age out. So you need to really understand who your core consumer is. And if, when Sarah was founding the company, she was 28. So the core consumer was sort of always that 28-year-old woman. There were products that appealed to somebody that was older. There were products that appealed to somebody that was younger. But we should have always been, coming up with products for that 28-year-old, no matter whether she was in 2008 or 2018. And so I think with faux leather leggings, they were able to repeat that success. So I'm forgetting what the second question was at this point, now that I've gone so far on the product life cycle. Managing somebody. Yes. Okay. So I think, managing a team, I started out with a team of 1 at Spanx, and then I had a team of 2 and 3. So it was small potatoes, but I think, as I've have my own business and manage people, internally working out of my house, I think no matter whether you are managing 1 or managing, 20 or 50, I think you have to understand how to communicate with people, because even if somebody is not under your like org chart managerial department, every relationship that you have and every conversation that you have, you are managing somebody. You are helping them understand and communication is, I would say, key in effectiveness. You are asking them to help you get something done that will help you do your job or further yourself or further your career. So it's a two-way street. You need to figure out how the communication style can flow and what you can do to help them and how you can best, achieve the common goal. So whether you're working cross department or, even within your own leadership base, I think helping people understand as a manager that you're there for them on a, especially in this COVID time, that you're there on an emotional level, I think is something, that women we were talking about earlier are told they're too emotional or too this. Like, I think that being emotional and being available for people is a benefit. And I think that it's something that makes you human and makes people want to perform for you. And so I think being able to balance, how to manage effectively in the workplace and also still be human and, you know, be understanding as people are trying to work at home with kids. And I think that's really, like, as we've had these technological issues and I was trying to think of things, you know, I think that something that has been a positive coming out of this situation is that everyone's a lot more understanding and gracious and willing to sort of, you know, just smile and figure it out. And so I think that that's helpful as you're learning to manage a team of 1 or a team of 100.
Yes. Yes, I agree. We are going to end the segment now because we're with our time, but I do want to actually, since we're like being really candid, it really is true, because this is like what I always have with me during my digital events. You know what that is, right? Oh, we can't hear you now. Anyway,
it's a baby monitor.
Oh, I was going to say it's your Spanx.
No, it's not. But I have those two, and I have the thin ones and the thick ones and the this ones and the that one. So
totally. The baby monitor is key. So you're doing it all.
I am. So thank you so much for being with us today. Please put the link of your new line in the chat. Definitely want to find it out. And thank you so much for being with us today. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.